for coming to help the Humanities Center start its 2010 Brown Bag series auspiciously. Today we will have a talk by Professor Robert L. Thomas. I say that because we know Dean Thomas as Dean Thomas, and sometimes we forget that talented administrators are also scholars. We think of them as sitting on some coin of unsympathetic detachment from our scholarship, and forget that they are of our kind also. Professor Thomas's academic credentials are impeccable. He received his degrees from two prestigious universities, his AB from Bowdoin College and his PhD from Brown University. He came to Wayne State University in 1964 as a member of the physics department faculty and proceeded to have a distinguished academic career as a physics professor. He published numerous articles on imaging, titles varying from acoustic chaos and sonic infrared imaging to earth-time ecothermal wave imaging. In recognition of his scholarship, he was invited to be a fellow of the American Physical Society and a member of this university's prestigious Academy of Scholars. He founded Wayne State University's Institute of Manufacturing Research and directed it from 1986 to 2000. But it is as a talented administrator that he is best known to colleagues outside of his department. He was named assistant department chair in 1981 and came up to ranks until he was named interim dean of the College of Science in 2000 and dean in 2001 in recognition of his outstanding administrative talent when the university merged the Colleges of Science and Liberal Arts. In 2004, Dean Thomas was appointed to head the combined College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and he remains in this position to this day. He has had a leadership role in establishing the university's Confucius Institute, which is a program aimed at enhancing intercultural understanding by providing scholarly resources and programs related to Chinese language and culture. That institute is an outgrowth of of his visit to China in 2006 by Wayne State delegation, of which Dean Thomas was a key member. Dean Thomas has been a friend of the Humanities Center for many years. He has demonstrated that practically in a variety of ways, including his willingness to make opening remarks at all of our conferences and symposia when his schedule allows. In those remarks, he has consistently expressed support for the center and its mission. This will be Dean Thomas's second Humanities Center Brown Bag talk. The first was given on November 4, 2003, when he spoke on the topic Daya Thing, Big Family, a personal perspective on 2 decades of scientific and cultural exchanges with friends from China. Consequently, I am personally honored, and the center is too, to have this very busy man spend time with us today to talk on connections between urban and global student service learning. So please welcome him to the podium with applause.
Well, thank you very much, Walter. And I think I complained to you the last time that you introduced me. But let me complain again. You know, as Irvin D. Reed, some of you remember Irvin D. Reed, the president of Wayne State University, used to say, "You got everything in my vita except for one thing. I was president of my 8th grade class 2 years in a row."
Behold the man.
I always like that line that Irvin used. Well, it's a delight to give this beginning talk for the Humanities Brown Bag Colloquium Series for this winter. And I'll be talking about some connections between things that I think are very important to us all here at Wayne State. One is the urban mission, and you know that we are the premier, at least we aspire to be the premier urban research university in the land. And I like to think of that as both a capital U and a capital R. And I think there are some interesting connections that perhaps I can persuade you about as we go on. It's no surprise to you, of course, that there's a good deal of poverty in the vicinity of where we're meeting here today. And this is true of all urban cores in this country. In fact, this is basically where poverty abounds. There is Appalachia, of course, but I think by and large, there's a huge problem of haves and have-nots and the divide between the two here in Detroit and in many other large cities in this country. I heard last week, maybe you did too, a number. I don't know how these numbers are substantiated, but there was a number that was said concerning the graduation rate in Detroit of African American males. Anybody remember that number from the radio last week? 33% was the number that was quoted. How authoritative, I don't know, but it's not good. I can't imagine, when I was going to high school, I could not imagine everybody not graduating from high school, basically. I mean, it should be in the 90s. But that's where we are, and this is something that we are very much concerned about here in Detroit and here at Wayne State. China, as you know, I have a great interest in China, and if you think back over the past couple of decades, I think China has experienced something in excess of a 9% growth in GDP per year. It's an astounding growth in the prosperity of that huge country and trading partner. In fact, they just surpassed Germany as the top exporter of goods this past week or so. If you remember, those of you who've read the Flat Earth book will perhaps remember that this is something that is not divided, dispersed uniformly across China or other developing countries. It turns out that most of this increase in prosperity is piled up along the coastal cities and up the rivers where there's access to exporting of goods. And so in China, places like Beijing and Shanghai and Guangzhou and Hong Kong and so on look much more prosperous than Detroit these days, if you listen. But that's not true if you go into the interior of the country. And if you go to the countryside, what you find is that you've got something on the order of 800 million people who are not sharing in that same growth. Maybe the growth has been, 1 or 2 or 3% per year. But you've got the difference between 1 or 2 or 3% compared to 9 or 10% per year, and you have this gap that grows every year between the haves and the have-nots in China. Keep in mind that 800 million people that are unhappy about their lot in life is potentially a problem, not only for China, but for everybody else in the world. And then, of course, no matter where you go, this is true. I think the story about the coastal prosperity in the rivers also applies to other countries like India and probably Africa and so on. And in the Middle East, some of us just returned from a trip to Israel a month or two ago, and what you find is that in adjacent areas you'll have prosperity and poverty intermingled. So what does this mean for our students here at Wayne State? Well, it's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for our students to learn and also to serve at the same time. And by the key to this, a primary means for alleviating poverty, no matter where you are, is education. And so it's the educational opportunity that is not being afforded on an equal basis to different parts of the population, either in urban Detroit or in rural parts of the world. We have lots of programs. I just listed a few that I found on a document that are going on here at Wayne State. There's the long-standing Detroit Science, Engineering, Mathematics, and Aerospace Academy, funded in part by NASA, and that's been going on for quite some time, actually on the second floor of Old Main every Saturday, and parents and students K through 12 participate in that. The Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program, DAPCEP, has been here, I think, almost as long as I have, and if you did your sums, I've been here for 45 years as of last month. And it's been here almost that long, I think. And lots of others. The one that I highlighted in red is one that I'd like to spend some time on. Many of you, wow, the color got a little green here, but it's a different color than on my screen. But the Math Corps is a program that's been running since 1992. And it's a program whereby middle school students through high school students spend 6 weeks on our campus in 2 sites, actually, one in Manoogian and one in State Hall. 400 students per summer. And they study mathematics, but they do it in a rather interesting way. This, I think, is the secret for a lot of the solutions that I think will come for this educational gap in opportunity gap that exists for kids either in rural China or in urban United States. And I think it's worth actually reading a little bit of this, because I think it's a simple but elegant way of making a difference. So in the summer camp, this 6 weeks, these middle school students receive a variety of instruction. You might think that it's all Wayne State professors. In fact, there are 2, Steve Kahn and Lynn Bohm. And K through 12 teachers from the Detroit Public Schools typically. College students, I highlight that because that's a chance for our students to get involved, and high school students. And the high school students called TAs because they are assistants. They spend their mornings helping the middle school students, serving as natural role models because they've been there. They all started as 7th graders themselves, and so a youngster coming in can see how it's possible to be successful. They're organized into teams, each consisting of 10 middle school students at the same grade level, 1 college student, a Wayne State student typically, who serves as the team leader, and then 5 high school TAs. And they assist the team leader in providing instruction, tutoring, and mentoring for the middle school students. So here's the trick, and you can patent this, I think. The students at each level interact with others who are a bit further along in their mathematical development. And this would apply in other areas beyond mathematics, but it certainly works in mathematics. Learning is two-way. Younger students learn from older students who become natural role models and who support them in ways that reach well beyond the realm of academics. The older students, through their tutoring and mentoring activity, deepen their own understanding of mathematics. Nothing teaches you better than teaching yourself. And while perhaps, and this really is even more important, boosting their self-esteem. I have a hero in this. The guy's name is Dante Wilson, and I'm going to show you, I put together a clip because some of this is on the website for the Math Corps, but this is a slightly different collection of videos from a long interview that was done by Dante Wilson, I think around 2003. And he was a junior from Cass Tech at the time and working in the Math Corps. So I hope the sound will work. If not, I may have to do a little work.
All right. I'd say those people, the TAs that I had, I mean, my first TA is still here, and he's here as a CA now. I mean, it's real rewarding to see.
It's a college instructor.
And he came from being just a TA like I am now, and now he's going to college and he's getting his life right, you know.